Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another show of Inspirate Business, the show that's here to inspire you, to empower you, and to enlighten you. And as you know, each week we have someone very, very special that we choose, somebody who's making an impact in the world that they operate in. Today, we've picked somebody who is a first for the show. I would say this is, I think, the 32nd show, and this is the youngest guest that we have on our Red Hot Couch, sponsored by Aza Collective. And we welcome this young man who I have the privilege of having met a couple of years back, had a lovely conversation in a social context. He's a friend of my kids. And I just found him to be absolutely insightful, I think wisdom beyond his years, and I think a real role model for the youth with the challenges that the youth face today, and is making an impact in his own right. Has tried various businesses, is now currently in his dad's business, and it speaks volumes about old school values in this modern world that we're living in. Welcome to the Inspirate Business Show, a young man, Uzair Gardee. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for that very kind introduction. I mean, I'm blushing here a little bit just listening to it. I don't know how much of it is is that spot on, but anyways, thank you for the kind words. I will take it with pleasure. Jazakallah for having me. As we said just now before we started, wherever this is gonna go, it's gonna go. But I'm happy to be here just to listen to what you have to say, to obviously answer any questions that you would like to maybe hear.
Mm.
And yeah, assalamu alaikum.
No, welcome, welcome, and we're gonna have lots of fun, um, and just tap into your mind, this mind of the youth. I think what we're trying to get at here as well is we have so much to learn. I mean, yes, we say that there's wisdom that comes with the years, the gray beards, and everything that comes with it, all the loss of hair. I know your parents very well, Sumaya family,
Yes.
your dad, back in the day, quite a prominent person. And yeah, you come from good rearing. We normally ask questions of where you started and whatever.
Yeah.
You only starting,
I,
right?
I,
And that's the zest of youth. But what I found intriguing, having spoken to you before, is just your perspective of the world and your own journey. So maybe a little bit. You grew up in the Greenside area.
yeah. So I grew up in Greenside. When I was born, for the first maybe 6 years, I lived in the good old Fordsburg.
Hmm.
Opposite the plaza, until I moved to Greenside. In then from there it was school, high school, university.
Where did you school?
So I went from grade 1 to 3. I went to Greenside.
Hmm.
From grade 3 till grade 10, I went to Captain Cares, and then from grade 10 to matric, I was at Crawford Sanford.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Then
had quite a colorful background. Yeah.
quite a colorful background, a lot of different places, different faces. But yeah, it was fun. School was a completely different time in life. It was and back when we were in school, back when I was in school, compared to what school is now, it seems like it is decades apart.
Hmm.
Like things are completely different. Things are not the way that it used to be, with the influence of technology, with the influence of kids, and the Western culture creeping into kids' minds. I think it's just completely different. Parents aren't parenting anymore. It's Instagram, TikTok, and phones that are doing the parenting.
Hmm.
And it's completely different. There's no such thing as going to have fun outside anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So that was school. From there, I wanted to study medicine. So didn't work out. I tried to do it through biomed. I went to vets. After 2 years, I dropped out. That life wasn't for me.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, that was just the basic schooling, the schooling life on my side. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing too hectic. It was just the usual schooling life.
And you then dabbled into a few businesses as well as a youngster.
Yeah, so immediately after I dropped out of university, I said, you know what, if 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 the university life is not for me, then I can't just come out and say, okay, you know what, uh, I'm gonna wait until I find
Mm,
what is for me or whatever. So I said that, now that I'm out of doing what my parents need me to do, I now need to do something,
mm,
And so from that, from that day, I had basically the perspective that, you know what, I don't know, like all of these other kids, this one wants to be a lawyer and he knows that that's what he wants to do for the rest of his life. This one wants to do this. And I didn't have that. So I left uni and I said that I'll just do as many things as I can do until that one thing sparks out to me, and until that is the one thing that I'm happy to do for the rest of my life. So
mm.
saying that, I started, I a partner and I started a vape shop in Norwood, and it actually did really well. It taught me a lot about business. It taught me a lot about handling relationships with people in the business world. It taught me a lot about expenses, about real life things
Mm,
that
mm.
I was quite blanketed to before, and so that worked out quite well. I mean, it worked out well enough for us to open up a second shop, and after that second store opened, at that time, there was no vapes in the market at the time. The time that we started, there was like one or two vape stores here and there. So people that wanted to buy vapes, wanted to buy this new electronic cigarette that just came out. They needed to travel to get it. So having that vape store was, it was quite niche at the time because you couldn't find uh, it everywhere and anywhere. But as of maybe about 2 years ago ish, the market got flooded.
Mm,
Every single store, from Spa to Engine, to even your Coca-Cola corner stores,
mm, mm.
started selling vapes, started selling these electronic cigarettes, and so the market just got too flooded, and so a decision had to be made. Do we continue fighting this path, or you know do we look elsewhere? And
Mm.
at that point, is where I had a conversation with my dad, and he basically told me, you know what, you got your experience, you did what you had to. Why don't you come? I have this business. I need help in these certain areas. Why don't you come, where now, instead of just coming as a newbie, where I'm going to be nagging you and teaching you about everything, you can come and you can find your own path in there. You can see what you would like to do, and you could see where there's holes and problems, and you obviously help solve it, and forge your own path in that business. And so currently, I'm working with my dad, uh, after that journey that I've just spoken about.
And that business is an importer of sweets, right?
Yeah, so we import sweets from China. We get it branded, manufactured, and sent over here, and then from here we just distribute it.
All right. And your role in the business? Learning
So
everything.
my role at the business, I got put into the deep end a little bit. So when I came in, it was just sort out the warehouse, and at that point I entered and I said, and I just looked at the scope of how things were, and I managed to go to a couple of other businesses of that did something similar, and to have a look at what the differences were, how they
Mm.
operate, what worked, what doesn't work. And I got put into the deep end, into a point where there was no organizational structure, there was no actual checking of things there. It was just a very, it was a very fish and chip sort of operation, where You get your
Mm.
orders, somebody's there that needs to get it on the spot, and then it goes and done.
Okay, we have to get to the break now. We are on such a powerful point there. I'd like to discuss this because the traditional business versus or values versus this entrant, this young entrant comes in with all their bright ideas. Let's discuss this after the break. Welcome back to Insiprate Business, and on our red hot couch, sponsored by Aza Collective, we have none other than this young man, Uzair Gardee, who's been sharing his experiences. By the way, the youngest guest we've had on this red hot couch, and a brave boy to come onto the show. We normally we ask people and they give us their whole stories because they're normally in their 40s and 50s and give us their whole colorful stories. You at the young, tender age of 26.
26.
Yes, just starting off your life. But there must be so many lessons, and I think what we're trying to get at here as well is this new generation and what we can learn from the likes of yourselves, and what you mentioned that parenting today has become about TikTok and social media, Instagram. That's become the parent, and that can really take you on another trajectory. You know, you also, and I think we'll just finish off with that part that you were talking about on the business side. You said you dabbled into, or you dabbled, not dabbled, but you dabbled into the business of the vape, and you open up stores and whatever, and that was your experience now with your dad. But you're bringing in now, like you said, it was running in the traditional way, like most businesses that we are successful. I know your dad runs a very successful business. He's been doing this for quite some time now.
Yeah, he's been doing for this for about 20 years.
Yes.
So that business is going. He's actually doing quite well. And I think the biggest thing that I learned,
Mm.
from once joining my dad, which was completely contrary to what I obviously wanted initially, and that's exactly what we spoke about, that Western versus modern.
Mm.
So the modern, I would say the modern goal,
Mm.
right? As somebody that had that modern goal a couple of years ago, is to have something that runs for you. The
Right.
modern mind doesn't like to work. The modern mind doesn't like to get down and do dirty work.
That's brilliant.
The modern mind likes to sit and just, Bill Gates style, make money
Yes.
while you're sleeping. You don't need to be doing anything for that money to come in. And I think that is probably the biggest thing that I've learned over the last 2 years, is that hard work and consistency are the most important thing. Nothing is going to come without the hard work.
Mm.
Everybody in this modern day and age wants to get the results. They want the dreams. They want that money to be coming in while they're sleeping,
And they want it quick.
but they wanted to do it easy. They want to do
Yes.
it quick. They don't want to work. They don't want to, put in the hours, do the hard things. If there's anything that can be done, it's, okay, I can get someone that can do this. I can hire someone that can
Or
do this.
systemize it.
I can systemize it. Let me
Yeah.
make it an operation so that I just need to, know what's going on, and that's it. And I think that is the biggest load of rubbish that us as youngsters have actually, held on to. Because
Mm.
I held on to that for a long time.
Mm.
I left school. I was, in this vape business, and uh, yes, I can easily come and sit here and say that, the market was flooded and this and this and this. But ultimately, if there was more hard work to be that I myself put in, I would have beat the market being flooded already before it got flooded.
Mm.
And that's what the importance of hard work is. It's
Mm.
preparing for that moment where everybody else catches up. Because when that happens, you need to now be another step ahead. And you can only do that by constantly working hard and literally being happy with things being difficult, being happy with things taking long. And I think probably the most I learned out of that transition between my own business and going into my dad's old school business is, I think it's showing up. You got to show up and you got to do the hard stuff, because nobody else is going to do that. But nobody else wants to do that for you. If there's something difficult, for you. If you are looking at a problem and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be difficult, you give that to somebody else, they're not going to have they're not going to have anything to do with it. And so the hard things in life and the tough things and the things that take longer and the things that are maybe more admin and more pressure is the things that you need to actually look forward to
What
do.
they say, the unsexy things, right?
The
And
unsexy things.
that's where all the success lies.
The
And
unsexy
what the
things.
world is showing is this allure of only the sexy things, all the glitz and glamour. And that's how, and I mean, even the personal development space has sold this lie.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a practitioner of that, and I can tell you that they have sold you this lie that is just about, as you said, 3 minutes, and you just sit and it will be, and you negate that old school principle.
Yeah, there's
Of that what you say.
there's books like The Secret,
Yeah.
and there's books like and all these YouTube videos of guys saying that you must just always think about it and never stop thinking about it, because you manifest
Yeah.
what comes into your life, and you choose what happens in your own life, and manifestation is everything. And I've just found that to be a whole lot of rubbish, absolute bunch of rubbish. Because yes, manifestation exists, but manifestation does not exist because of ourselves. When we are born already, our whole life is written out. Every single decision we're going to make, every single word we're going to say. I mean, what I'm busy saying to you here, this was written out from years and years and years ago. So, yes, manifestation is a thing, but it's only a thing because of what our subconscious has. I think that our subconscious is where that entire, pre-written life sits, and
that takdir in our
that
tradition.
takdir, it sits in our subconscious. So obviously, if something is supposed to happen to me in 3 days, because we don't know and don't even understand what the subconscious is, that subconscious is going to start bringing, like, just if business wise, if you have an order that someone is coming to collect, you're going to get that order out about a day before that guy comes. So the same way, the subconscious works in the same way. Whatever is about to come out, the subconscious is going to slowly bring it into your thoughts, a little bit of time before that thing actually happens. So our whole idea of manifestation, currently with the Western way that it's been being sold to us, I think is incorrect, because we don't choose what we manifest. The thoughts come up, and based on when and the frequency of how much it's coming up, we can choose to, become more prepared for what's about to come. But we can't choose what we manifest. So I mean, I can't sit here and look at you and see this white shirt and be like, I'm gonna get a white shirt. If I'm sitting here and it just comes to my mind, white shirt, and then I spot it, that's where I think the line of manifestation versus stupidity sits.
And I think what you're saying is that you need to get in tune to what that destiny is for you.
Yeah.
So get into what your purpose is.
Yeah.
And it could be not it could be, it is unique to you and unique to the 8 billion people on planet Earth. Each one has got their own ordained destiny that Allah has given them.
100%.
And live up to the best of your ability for that destiny. And that's your challenge. That's the only thing you can do.
100%.
And that doesn't mean I watch the YouTuber and he's in Dubai with his bling, and then therefore I must also have that. Maybe that's not your gig. Yours is to fly in planes or not to drive cars, right?
No, look,
Yeah.
100%. And I
Yeah.
think that's where and how dangerous Instagram, TikTok, all of these social medias are. We have everybody that's born, because of our fingerprints, we all have complete different, unique stories, But the issue is people are now in pursuit of being unique. You can't be in pursuit of being unique. It's just got to happen. You're going to be in pursuit of living for that moment and trying to make the best decisions that you can on that day, or on in that moment that you're talking about. But if you're thinking 20, 30, 40 years, there's a lot of room for that to go wrong, because we have right now in front of us and our subconscious has the rest of our lives over here. So now you're sitting on Instagram, like you said, maybe the bling life is not for me, right? But I'm looking at Instagram, I see, okay, this maybe sports person has this thing here. Yeah, that's something that I could also do. I could also wear, and then immediately you putting things that are not in your destiny into your brain, and that's how we get it mixed up, because we don't have this thought ever, it's not there, but then we see it on Instagram and we slowly creep it into our brains. So now our brain is telling us non-bling, but now we saw bling and we've creeped it in. So now we are at a crossroads. Is our destiny, is what Allah wants for us, this bling, or is what Allah
We're
wants
actually
for us?
moving away from that
And you
destiny.
actually move away from the destiny.
Yes.
So and like you said, for us to try and stay in tune with that destiny that we have written for us is the most important thing in today's day and age. Because today's day and age is not like before. We're not going to experience hectic warfare where people are going to be.
We'll talk about that. I have to interrupt you on this. Wow, we're going into the depths of life. I'm so intrigued by. As I told you, this is a young man who has wisdom beyond his age. Let's delve deeper after the break. Welcome to Insiprate Business, where we have Uzair Gardee, and we're talking business, we're talking life, we're talking psychology, we're talking the challenges that we face with in the world we live in today. This advent as a young man, and many young people living in this world today with this real inundation of Western values, this consumerism. We spoke about the concept, which even in the personal development space, and again, me being a practitioner who has traveled quite the world in terms of learning about, the personal development space. And there's this misnomer that it's just about manifestation in just dreaming it and it will be. And, you were saying, was there about having transcended from your own business into your dad's business and learning about those old school values that you can't negate, which is hard work, the grind, doing stuff that's not so cool. And I think everyone wants to do the cool stuff. And that's what social media in the world is showing you. It's all about the bling and all the excitement, and everyone wants to get into the excitement. But that guy, that's the quiet guy, that's not doing much, that's not speaking much, he's the one that's making lots of money, very successful, quietly. And it's in those areas where success lies. It's in that aspect which you mentioned, that going out every day, in the trials and tribulations of life. Behind those is where the success lies.
100%. 100%. I think the Western world is selling us a lie. They are telling us that, or they're showing us these business people, they're showing us these successful people, and they're giving an image of what they look like, or let's say a day in their life of what they look like, as wake up, have your great morning routine where you go to the gym and you do this and you have this health, this, and you get fetched and you get taken to work and you spend very minimal amount of time there, and then you have these lunches and you go and do this and you go and do that, and then at night you have dinners planned and this and that. And I think that everybody, and that is forcing us to really, as youth, as people who are in their teenage years and are thinking about what am I going to do with my life. They look at all of these inspirations, they look at these role models, and they want to create their life like that. So, and that's the difficulty of it, right? Warfare is not the same as what it used to be. Warfare is no longer guns and bullets and shots and deaths. Warfare is against our minds currently.
That's
They
profound.
they know the power of the human brain, They know what the human brain is capable of. They know that every single human being has their own destiny and their own unique story, which will be for the greater good. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to come into our minds and say, this is not your path. You need to have a path like this.
Mm.
So we're currently living in spiritual warfare, where, as we were talking about earlier, you have that destiny that Allah writes out for you, and that you are going to live no matter what. But then you have things like social media and fake role models, fake, all these fake rich people that you're looking at, and that's the life you want to live. So now you're immediately telling your brain, I don't want what Allah has given to me. I want that. And I'm going to make my own path based on that. And that is the crux of what life is currently at the moment. The war between Allah and Shaitan in our brain. It's destiny. Allah says everybody will fulfill their own destiny on this earth. Shaitan says, watch, I'm going to lead people astray. And so we are in the time of it that it is actually at its most heated right now, because there are more people going astray right now than ever before. And astray doesn't mean that you have to be off the rocks and you have to be a complete
Get into
menace
drugs
to
and
society.
yeah.
That's not off the track. Off the track means that if I'm supposed to be with my family tonight, and I see something on Instagram that makes me be like, this is what I want to be doing. That's what it means. When we actually go leave our family to go and do this, tick. That's a win.
Or I'm supposed to go to work. I don't.
I don't,
Because I again, you're saying I'm thinking that I want to take the easy route.
I want to take the easy route.
Because it says that this is the way to go.
100%.
They've actually made the wrong right.
They've made the wrong right, and
Yeah.
they've made it all an illusion. You see on social media that this multimillionaire is sitting in his penthouse. He just chills there the whole day, and he can do some remote work for an hour if he wants to. And that's a complete lie. Because if you look at real life people, right, not people on social media, real life people, the people who have made it, the people who are successful, the people who are respected, amongst people in the community, are people that actually go and do the dirty work. The people that go and do tedious work for hours and hours that nobody really cares about. It doesn't look fancy. It doesn't look like what social media makes it look like. Social media makes it look like if you're rich, you can only behave like this. And if you do this, you are demeaning yourself. It's the complete opposite. Somebody that's successful, he's more than happy to go out of his way to do, the dirtiest of work. And so I think hard work, sacrifice, and just patience is something that is quite important in today's day.
Now I want to ask you, this as a 26-year-old, because you are an outlier. Malcolm Gladwell talks about what is an outlier, somebody that's not in the norm. It's so easy to be part of this, and you can believe that this is the correct way.
Yeah.
Right? Bling and the influencer lifestyle and all of that, because it's made to be cool. It's made to be the norm.
Yeah.
What was that? I guess you were in the vortex as well, right? What made you get out of the vortex and look at it from a different perspective?
Look,
was there like a profound moment, or what was that, or was it just you always been built like it?
No, I was not always. I was not always. But if anything, I was a sucker to the system for the last, 5-6 years. I think what's really helped me, and I look at it in a completely different way to how others would probably look at it. But when I was quite young, my brother passed away. Right now, for a long time, I was just thinking about it in the incorrect way, in the way that they want you to think about it. Why is this happening to me?
How old were you at the time?
I was 17 at the time.
Okay.
why is this happening to me? Okay, if this is the case, then I'm just going to live my life with this, that, or whatever. And I think when I finally flipped the script on that, and when I said, you know what, this has happened to me, this doesn't happen to a lot of other people. I need to use this as my superpower, And so when I when I changed the perspective on that, and um, when I looked at it that way, I think that was when I became willing to change, when I became willing to want to be different, and actually willing and wanting to start actually making sense, start actually doing things properly. And after that, I think I think the defining thing, I think, is the Quran.
Mm.
Um, so a couple of years ago only, I think about 3 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, I started reading the Quran in English, right? And which didn't make sense. I mean, I tell my mom, I tell my nanny about it. They still, you must read it in how it's supposed to be. And to me, that the English language, because we speak the English language, reading the Quran in English is actually a way of saying, okay, I'm going to take what technology and modern society has, and I'm going to use it to my benefit. Hundreds of years ago, or even decades ago, the Quran was not available in English as widely as it is now. Technology has made that possible, and it's made it possible for us to actually read what Allah has said and what He wrote and revealed to the world from His own words.
Mm.
And I promise you, when you do that and when you actually read those words, there's no going back.
The solutions for the world is in that book.
The solutions,
Everything that we're facing, you spoke about all that earlier, that vortex, that shaitan
it's
world, it's all the solutions are there, from business to
every
life to
single one.
marriage to everything.
Every single one. Every
That is so
single one.
true.
I urge whoever is listening and actually wants to do something, just go and try this out, right? I'm not even joking to you. This is a legit thing. So the Quran is said to be a breathing book, right? So anyone, me, you, anyone at home, if they take an English Quran and you open it to any random page that you think is random and a coincidence, I promise you, the words on that page
Will be, yes,
will be what you need
this is
for
true.
today.
This is true. I've actually started practicing that as well, and I totally subscribe to what you're saying. That answer for whatever you challenged with comes out just by opening.
Just by opening
This
the
is
book.
true.
And
This is true.
you don't even need to know what chapter you need to read. You don't even
This
need
is
to know what page you need to read, how you need to read it. Just open the book
Mm,
and read the words that Allah has given directly to man.
mm,
You know, I've always been of the thought that, what, in today's climate, right, of the Western world versus the old school mentality, right? To be a Muslim is difficult.
mm,
I must say, to be a Muslim is difficult because you grow up with all of these thoughts that, hey, this is difficult, this is extra, this, and there isn't a lot of sense to be made about it because we ultimately taught in fear.
mm,
You taught if you don't read the Salah, the scorpions are going to come for you. If you
mm,
don't do this, Shaitan's going to be waiting there for you. And yes, those things are true, but if you are able to, to to read, to actually read the Quran, you find the love aspect of it
mm.
against the fear.
Okay, we can go and talk forever, and I think we should actually, maybe this is a good idea. You should actually have another show of your own, and we can discuss the Quran and with maybe an imam, and you can have a show like this and then apply it in the practical world. I think that's a great idea, and we need to speak to the producers around that. We've come to the end of this segment. After the break, let's explore the journey of Uzair Gardee further. Welcome back to Insiprate Business, where we're here to inspire you, to empower you, and to enlighten you. And boy, have we been enlightened by this young man, Uzair Gardee, with wisdom beyond his years. I'm sure you picked this up delving into the psychology of life, this that he speaks about, so profound and so simplified, this battle between shaitan and our destiny that Allah has given us, and how easily we can, can get lured into this world of shaitan because it's now been made to be the norm. It's made
It's
cool,
been made cool.
right? We used to know that this was wrong,
Yeah.
but now you don't even know this is wrong anymore because you actually been conscientized. I mean, let's take the LGBTQI issue. I mean, I don't want to go into the depths of it. We were in the last, but
Don't
let's
get
just
me
take it.
started on.
That is, we know it is wrong. It is, but yes, we understand. You don't have to be like in a way where you being oppressive. Where people do what they do, but you called it out for what it is. It's wrong. Is wrong. That's just one example.
Yeah.
There'll be many other examples. In business, we talk in business. So riba. However, we all are victims to it. But and you spoke about the Quran. The injunctions in the Quran tell you, even if you are in it, get out of it, because this is better for you. Allah even knows that you are going to be suckered in, but it is wrong. And what we do is we try and hoodwink ourselves and make us believe
We make it okay.
that it's okay.
We
And I
make
think
it okay.
that is the fundamental problem.
I agree with you. Making it okay is the issue that we have now. And we have to understand that this is the first generation or this is the first group of humans living with technology in all of existence. So we don't even have any bit of idea as to what this could look like, or what are the effects, what are the outcomes of this versus what life of before. So something, the line between right and wrong is I don't think has ever been more important, because if you lived in a society 50 years ago, you 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 are only limited to a certain number of things. You can wake up, you can go to your place of work, you can see the people that you see. You may be going to see one or two different or strange things during your day that can get you thinking, right? Now, the issue with social media is every single minute there's something that is, being fed into your brain, So we don't understand how much extra is being fed into our brain versus what's written for us, what we're supposed to be seeing. And so having that definition between right and wrong is very, very important, because you can make anything okay. You can literally make anything okay. But when you have a decision to make, there always has to be a line, and you need to know, okay, this is the right decision, this is the wrong decision, and you need to try and do the right thing every single time. And even if you don't, and this is where the Quran comes in, the Quran tells you that Allah knows that as human beings, we are born to sin, right? We are born as sinners. And all Allah wants to know is that guilt from committing the sin, or the guilt from doing the incorrect thing over the correct thing, He needs it to be there, and you need to actually communicate it to Him. And I think my spiritual life, and I would say my life in general, changed for the better when I started communicating with Allah. And when I say started communicating with Allah, I mean the way I'm speaking to you now. The way I would speak to my mom if I need something from her, the way if I would speak to a friend of mine if I want to do something, or if I'm excited about something. If you speak in the same way to Allah, it will be for your own benefit, because there is a special designation amongst Allah's followers that is said to be regarded as Allah's friend, right? And you and I both know that if you have a friend that's in trouble, that's gonna go through some stuff or whatever, you will go out of your way to try and protect him from that. You will go out of your way to try and make it easier for him. If he needs help from you, let's say a friend comes to you and he needs help and you're in a position to help him, because he's your friend, you're going to go out of your way to help him. So we want that same treatment from Allah direct. So in order to do that, we need to open up that channel of communication that makes Allah a friend of ours, while also recognizing him as our Lord. And I think we all recognize, especially in South Africa, our community all recognize him as God, as our Lord, as, everything. But we need to open up that channel of communication where we chat with him directly about anything and anything that is happening, that's going to happen, that you want to happen, because that is what the Quran says.
That's profound, and especially kids watching, youngsters watching. I mean, it is only through that what they call taqwa.
Yeah.
That Allah consciousness, as that in what you're speaking about, is that through that consciousness is where you've been guided. And then you make the right decisions. You know that this is wrong. And then you guided to stay on the right path. Yes, we will err, but we always come back. And now we're coming to the end of the show, and just in terms of your journey and how you see the world, I'd like to just get a bit of a perspective around that few minutes that's left. We in a country that's quite challenged. What are your views? And many people feel that the world's your oyster at a young age. You may feel maybe as a minority, this is not the place for you, and you can go and travel and go to Dubai. Most people are thinking of, and that's also an aliyah, right? Because that's where the bling is,
That's
right?
where the bling is.
What are your views about this country and the challenges, and as a youngster growing up in this?
I personally think that this country, especially as Muslims, our community is very, very strong. I would say that our country, even if you compare it to Middle Eastern countries, you compare it to any Western country or most countries in the world, I think our Islamic community is one of the strongest in the whole world, right? And I think we were lucky to have somebody like, yes, the ANC have messed things up, right? But we as Muslims were lucky to have had somebody like Mandela as our ex-president. To grow up with the values and learning about TRC, learn about, no hate, forgiveness. After years and years, of absolute torture and torment towards all black people in our country, Mandela came in with forgiveness, with TRC, with, living, coexisting together, the whole rainbow nation aspect. I think that's something that the ANC messed up. But I think that is one of the most beautiful things that we have as Muslim South Africans, because that is what Islam teaches us as well. It teaches us that what's done is done. You pray to Allah and you carry on and you do your best in the next moment, and you treat everybody equally, you treat everybody with fairness. And I think that as Muslims in South Africa, having grown up with Mandela as an inspiration to all of us, and his lessons as an inspiration to all of us, I think that it's important for us to finally come together. And when I say come together, I mean we need to start behaving like the Jewish people behave. Jewish people, they are thriving in the world, and they are less Jews than Muslims. And the only reason they are thriving is because of one reason. They all come together to support each other. And when I say that, we can put it in black and white. How many South African households on a monthly basis donates money to Palestine? You can count on your fingers. If you had to compare that to Jewish people in Israel, every single Jew subscribes money to Israel on a monthly basis. And so the change, I really believe in one quote. I'm not sure who the quote is by, but there's one quote that really sticks with me. It says, "The change that you see in yourself is what you will see in the world." And that is so accurate, in the sense that your world is in your brain, right? Eyesight, hearing, all of that, it's not out there, it's here. So if we actually do positive change and we spark our brain into that positive mode, we will start seeing a positive difference across the board. But I think in South Africa, the community that we have here together, I think the first thing that we can do is start sending money to Palestine.
Mm. Look, we've come to the end of the show. Quickly. It got like 10 seconds. Three key messages for the viewers, youngsters watching, adults watching, people that may be challenged. 3 points.
One, whatever language is your home language, find a Quran in that language, open it up to whatever page you would like to, and start reading.
Got it, right?
Number two, stop going with the flow in life. Everybody goes with the flow. Everybody just randomly goes from place to place, not knowing what they're doing in these places, but just going with the flow. My advice is stop going with the flow. Start having that clear definition between right and wrong, and only choose right.
Correct. And number 3?
And I would say number 3 is let's as Muslims, right? Let's all start sending money to Palestine.
Got it. Powerful concepts, powerful tools of advice. And so thank you, Uzair, for this.
Thank you. Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I'll catch you on many other shows. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.